Warning. Warning. This is not a test. This is not a test.
Drop it.
Tonight, the top drivers in the Mystic Racing League and its Cup Series. Visit an old favorite. Tonight, we're at iRacing's virtual Chicagoland Speedway for tonight's coverage of the WGTV West Georgia TV 225 here on Bowling TV and from iRacing's virtual Joliet, Illinois. I'm Justin Prince. Welcome to tonight's coverage. Our producer this evening is DJ Lion, using cameras provided by Whiplash Sim Cams. Tonight, we get ready to see how they fare at a mile and a half. Originally, this race was to be set on the dirt. Instead, looking to have a clean race, they intended to race here at this classic mile and a half that it has not been on the NASCAR Cup schedule since 2019. Tonight going to be a different night for these drivers to fare out here this evening. Talking about this racetrack, a mile and a half is this facility that allows the opportunity for multiple groups of racing. Also, always turning left, going to be a characteristic around these 18 degrees of banking as well. That back straightaway curve where you're always going to be turning left at least a little bit at some point on the night. There's also a lot of opportunities for drivers to push up out of turn 4 where they could potentially get wheel damage very easily if they slam the wall too hard and add fender and chassis damage. Here's a look at the playoff standings entering tonight. So far, 8 drivers have gotten themselves playoff victories that count their way. Janik, Holston, Wilson, Wren, Giles, Wingfield, Bollinger, and Rafferty all have that distinction so far this season. The highest running driver yet to win is Andrew Allen, who's in the 9th position. Janik last time out, picking up a dominant win in Wisconsin, his 3rd of the season, one of just 2 multi-race winners in 2025 so far. David Moyer is battling on the cut line with a 20-point cushion over Caleb Hunt, who's had a litany of problems throughout the campaign in terms of keeping things clean. Tonight we'll see if it's going to be a bit different. So drivers are now on the track for qualifying as these competitors look to see how they will fare out tonight. About 20-25 drivers at the facility, give or take. Driver led the way in final practice was Christian Barnes, interesting enough, a 30.4. There's a look at your top driver from practice, one of the drivers touched upon last time out. We expect big things to improve upon when it comes to his needs to be able to break through to victory lane. He was picked last week by Scott Shive as potentially someone who could break through with a win later on in the season and needing to show improvement for the postseason. Evan Janik right now top of the board, 30.8 in qualifying over Andrew Allen, Caleb Hunt, Zach White, Derek Jewett is in the top 5. Alex Pollock in 6th, Joshua Kane, John Ullman, Jeffrey Fisher, Alan Zukov amongst the top 10 as you keep an eye on the 27. The old Hunt Racing Machine having some struggles, just 1 lap qualifying for Chicagoland tonight. Where will Barnes stack up after that push? He's in the 9s, that's good enough for 2nd. 18 drivers have set times with 2 minutes left to go in the session. Of note, 1 driver not racing tonight, Joshua Thornton, has been removed from the facility. Harold Tucker III just set a time, so trying to set some times, just doing so. That car slowing down to a crawl. Just seeing it forward. Isaac Wilson 7th. For the most part, everyone on track has finished up their qualifying runs. That leaves Andy Berry, Andrew Job, Brandon Willard, along with Reggie Kime, Joshua Gillen, yet to set times, and they need to hit the racetrack about now at latest if they want any shot to set a time within about 30 seconds, plus about 40-45 seconds to get rolling. Your temperatures today in Sim at 66 degrees Fahrenheit on April 25th in Sim Day 2025. That means it's 94 degrees on the track temp so far. Very windy, as to be when you're near the Windy City by an hour plus. And these drivers will have to battle a high amount of humidity as well. It is very humid feeling here at Chicagoland today. So, just about getting all set for the grid. About 30 seconds until these drivers roll. The grid coming up in just a moment here from Chicagoland. So as we get set for that starting grid, of note, 26 give or take drivers expected to race here tonight from the racetrack. The qualifying order has now officially been completed. Qualifying confirmed to be complete in session for tonight for our competitors. Evan Janik starts on the pole. Christian Barnes will start in 2nd, near 10th and a half on the pole separation. Allen and Hunt is in row number 2. Row 3 features Zach White, highest starting spot of the season. Derek Jewett will start in 6th. Row number 4, Isaac Wilson alongside Alex Pollock They're also in the 31-1s. Then it's Joshua Peterson inside the top 10. Joshua Kane starts next to him. John Ullman and Jeffrey Fisher in the top 12 with Alan Zukov in 13th. Jared Knopfsnyder starts in 14th. The next spots, that sends us back to where Harold Tucker III is going to be. Alongside Jackson Hatawa will start in 16th. He was dead even on time with David Moyer, in fact, but it was Hatawa who got the tiebreaker. Bradley Knopfsnyder will start in 18th. David Wallace and Stephen Gill were the last drivers to set qualifying times through the top 20. That leaves Holston alongside Andrew Shobe of note. Shobe not in session. That moves Joshua Gillen up and Reggie Kime also up a spot. Also not in session is Andy Berry. Joshua Thornton had been preparing for tonight, but was booted from the Speedway. And Brandon Willard rounds out the drivers at the track tonight for this one. Your EOL penalties this evening go to Gill and Gillett. So we'll start at the tail in this field here in Joliet. Why don't we take a look at your race analysis for tonight as these drivers get ready to race their way around the track. 150 total laps your distance. Your stages laps 35 and 80. 6 tire sets in total for the race tonight in the pit lane. 7, including the car's tires right now. 56% of the fuel limit, so that should put them at maybe about the 35 lap mark. Normal fuel tanks can go around 60 to 66 when it comes to the distance. Of course, fixed setups are set to go. Long race ahead for our drivers. They have a couple pace laps to get themselves geared up and ready to go for this evening. Be a litany of Chevys up front, the top 3, all Chevys. Let's take a look at some of the onboard cameras. Different look tonight for Alex Pollock. How about a bit of a light show in the backdrop? New paint scheme for him this evening, also in the 8th position, driving with all blues, promoting his design company, 9222 Designs, all over the race car. He's your only camera provider tonight in terms of his viewpoints. I see him very much up on the wheel, a good track position. So we'll have one more pace lap before we get rolling once again here tonight. Glad to have you with us here on Ballin TV for tonight's coverage of the WGTV West Georgia TV 225. Your temperatures, by the way, you're at Joliet, 88 on the track temp. Glad to have West Georgia TV a part of tonight's coverage this evening. One of the many races that picked up some sponsors throughout the season. We'll see throughout the campaign. So a couple storylines to keep in mind. Evan Janik trying to keep up what's been a stellar start to the season, leading the way in playoff points. 14 so far picked up for the postseason with his 3 victories. Off and away to also be contending for the regular season championship. 66 points ahead. Adam Holston, about a month ago, had that advantage by a clear margin. That has since flipped. How Janik has dominated stages, 8 times a stage winner this season. Speaking of Holston, he's going to be someone to watch for. We'll have to start from the back, from the 20s. We know Holston has some good pace and the 8 machine. Happy with us here on Ballin TV for tonight's coverage from Chicagoland. Janik in control. Take a listen to the start as the pace car drops. The green flag set in the air. We're underway from Illinois. Janik leads lap 1. Oh, wow, it's side by side behind him most of the field. Interestingly enough, avoiding the bottom in 3 and 4. It's Barnes that tries to wrap the white line in 1 and 2. A little bit of the wiggles, though. They don't get a run for the outside of clear yet. Allen looks like he's going to try the top line. Still 2 by 2. There's the lift. Contact. Jewett hits the back end of the 27. Apologies over the radio as Allen moves his way to second. We have a caution. Caution flag is out. A couple drivers are spinning, including the 20 in the grass. Also over the track is Jewett. Hard into the side of the 10. Joshua Gillen just got absolutely clobbered while trying to roll very low on the track to avoid the spinning 45. So spark down to the checkup. You see the 20 in the backdrop, and then right here, this is off the nose of the 77 of White. Good save at first, but then it drifts back down the track right into the 10. Hard contact, no meatball flags. Let's take a look at what Gillen's seen. Might have chassis damage, though, from where the hit may have came from. Take a listen. Not much you can do already, trying to go as low as possible to the grass. Just so happens that the 45, a lot more momentum right down into his path, down the racing embankment. So, looks like for the most part, expecting people to stay out here for a caution. Do have Christian Barnes from that checkup effect already coming down. Interesting enough, though, Gale Punt also ducked on down, as well as a few people at the back of the field, including Tucker the third. Haven't seen since the early parts of the season. Might be way too early to take a set of tires, though. Looks like fuel only, if that, for our drivers just in the top off. Mentioned that it might be marginal in terms of where the fuel numbers are for tonight for the stage, for at least stage 1. So there's Janik up on the front of the field with at least 5 cars still getting work done on their machines. Of note, Shobe and Barry did not take the start. Willard has already parked his car after lap 1 in the 12 machine. So that leaves 23 cars remaining still in the lead lap. Choose rule for tonight. Going to be utilizing the seams to make sure drivers know where they need to go. If they're in that middle seam, basically, long story short, get the penalty. There's the seams. Bottom seams, essentially, they choose for the inside. Then those upper seams you see there would be where the outside comes into play. You're in the middle of those lanes. Well, that's basically a choose violation. And most of the field abiding by that rule, it looks like, to make sure they're as high as possible. Oh, that's actually a borderline right there. Might get picked up there by race control. That was Stephen Gill that crossed into the middle of the choose zone. See if it gets picked up by race control or not, as the 01 definitely crossed the plane. Race control has given him the all good. Despite that, they have confirmed, even with them confirming that situation at the radio, that is okay for the 01. So, it's Janik, it's Allen, it's Wilson and Pollock, it's Kane and Ullman, White and Hotella, Snopsnotter and Fisher in the top 10 and ready to go on their merry way. Let's try this once more. Coming to lap 7. Already less than 30 to go on the stage. Green flag is out. We're back to racing from Chicagoland. Great start from Janik. Already, the battle is on for second. Isaac Wilson. Good job to cut through the field early. Tries to go to the gears on the run as Allen scrapes the wall. That allows Allen, despite that, to move up, and we got a second caution. And just like that, the 01's involved, the 78. Zukov is coming up the racetrack. We're under yellow. Christian Bard's also saying he may have been involved on the radio. Can confirm he made contact with the 01 machine coming off of turn 2 as they were going to the gears. That turns the 01 into the 78 and causes the spin cycle. Hard hit for the 20 of Peterson, his second major spin of this race. One of the first times, I believe, seeing that green and white machine. Keep an eye on the run from the 27 as he tries to go to the inside. Right there, hits the left side, and into the 78 he goes. So that definitely gave chassis damage to the 20 in that sequence. Here's a look from Caleb Hunt. He's already got an EOL penalty from the damage. Sees the hole. Hole closes as he's jumping through it. Into the side of the 91 for good measure. That's going to send Zukov in. He's taken the faster pair Zukov has as a result of that situation. Coming to the one and choose. No changes really up front. It's been chaos so far in the mid to backpack so far, but a couple of drivers have been capitalizing. Mattel has gone from 16 to 7 so far with some scrapes. David Wallace has gone from 19 to 11th. Second biggest mover of the race so far, but Adam Holston also up a similar amount of spots. That's 8 for second most. Most is 9. You also have Kane that's moved up a fair bit. Ullman started towards the front, up 5. So choose is on as the field gets itself sorted for the restart. So far, so interesting when it comes to the racing. We'll see how the rest of the stage fares out with 25 to go. The green flag flies. Race control has just given a warning to the field to show patience after what's been a chaotic start. Coming to the green flag this time by. Green flag is out. Let's try this again. We're backing away. A poor start for Ullman as the rest of the field gets off and away. Already side by side for second. Continuing on. This time better start for Wilson. Some bobbling with David Moyer trying to play some games back there. Once again, good run Allen up to second as a lot of people are migrating to the top. lot of people also playing games with that apron. They're going to have to be careful with cutting that banking tonight. That's a good spot to end up sliding as the run goes on. Some drivers now going back to the bottom in 1 and 2, preferring the top in 3 and 4. Top 3 try and check out. Pollock trying to get back into the library of bookmarks for 4th. So Alex Pollock jumping up a spot side by side for the race lead. Allen takes away the bottom from Janik. The FSR machine gets the run of the FLM machine. A slam in front of the face of Wilson. Isaac Wilson, one of those drivers running the ancient world game machines, getting the door slammed shut right in their nostrils. They go lined up. Single file. Hatawa back there has already picked up the 4th spot. Huge block to the bottom. New fastest lap of the race going to Janik. Previously, the 30.8. Here comes Wilson with the side trap for 2nd. Allen's got the boost once again, though, on the defense. That outside line down the straightaway is the place to be with how much momentum you carry down the front stretch, even when you cut that dog leg, so to speak, onto the apron. Doesn't really matter because there's so much mo coming off the banking. Wilson still being forced to try and slow roll. This time, not so much momentum as Allen had to lift a little bit to avoid the wall. Kane moved up to 4th, by the way, in the other pack as they keep the battle up. Wilson at the apron and Allen. Wilson apologizes on the radio as he goes back in line. There goes the fight for 2nd. Let's talk about that fight going on for 4th, though. That purple and yellow machine has been charging 10th to 4 for +6 so far tonight. It's been a majestic ride for the Majestic Promotion and Branded Apparel machine. Now continuing some battling with Hatawa. They are in the 30.9s last time by, dead even on pace together. As there goes the 09 back up to 4th again. For the race lead, Allen has got the run, has taken it away from Janik. Janik is starting to lose ground, having some struggles getting the car to stick. Now that he's forced on the bottom. Allen already running away, that time by a couple tenths of a second. 3 wide as the 09 wraps the top. Hatawa jumps his way in the 2nd spot with the run, going top. Carrying the momentum. It's going to be interesting how his tires will fare out over the course's run, though. Usually you can burn up your rubber if you run this track the wrong way. That's why a lot of people, in some cases, prefer to run the top based on preference, but it burns more right front. Tire heat in general can be higher in 1 and 2 with the bottom. Top is the place to go down the line, usually when the lights go out. Under the lights, should say. Here comes the run for the race lead. Tower hasn't really led much this season. He is much quicker on entry compared to what Allen's doing. A lot of tire saving on entry from the 96. Tower going for the slide job. Sends it inside. Didn't have the confidence to keep it going there. Wilson retakes 2nd easily. As now it's John Ullman who takes the way, the preferred line for the 09. Talon tried it. Now may have buzzed the tires. Rewind down the back straightaway as Janik has drifted all the way outside the top 5. Oh, he might be in the wall here. Had to look for the 09 to avoid wall contact. So that checked up very badly in the battle for 5th position. Up front, though, yet again, the leader hasn't been able to get away tonight. This is a track where clean air is important. Lane choice is important. Being able to make sure you manage your pace is extremely important. But so far, Allen's been trying to pace himself not overly fast. Some of the drivers who have been pushing on the short to mid one reeled him in. Now this is the 3rd different driver now trying to pressurize the 96 since he took the lead. But the caution's going to come out. Back under yellow, Reggie Kime is in a ball of smoke in 3 and 4. So 9 machine has broken down here and has lost the right front. It's going to be dangerous for him to get the pit road. He crashed hard into 3. He'd have some help. 91 comes up, turns him around. That's Zukov involved in contact. That was near end of race for the 20 and Peterson. Peterson missed that by inches. There's a look. Drifts up. Massive wiggle. The death wiggle. Slams him to the wall for the 9. So, now comes the question, do drivers burn the set of tires here? There are a fair amount of spares. 91 gets the OL. We'll keep an eye on if they go to pit road. And the answer is, most people will not. Up front at least. The mid-pack does come down for service. We'll take a step aside. More coverage coming up. Mystic Racing League. So far with 3 cautions from Chicagoland. Continue on with coverage after this.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to Joliet, Illinois, as we get set for the restart. Andrew Allen is in control up front here in tonight's coverage. Again, brought to you by WGTV, West Georgia TV. Tonight's 225-miler at Chicagoland. Allen chose the top, interestingly enough, this time around, putting Ullman on the bottom. Wilson also chose the top after that run. Green flag is out. We're back underway. Allen, great restart. Will the 93 have a great restart too after that choose? 3 wide as Janik, good on short run, moves back to 4th. Some wiggle wobbling and some weeble wobbling to add to that wiggle wobbling. Janik hits the wall. He scrapes the side of the car. That slows him up just a little bit as Ullman still trying to hold on to second. Allen plays the lines. Less than 10 to go in stage 1. Offset 3 wide yet again. Janik gets the door slam shut in his face. Allen running away, but the caution is out. Another one, and yet again, it's the 20. Peterson, 3 incidents involved in tonight, and we're not even done stage 1. This one wasn't of his own doing for the most part. It was a checkup in front of him involving the 77 of Zach White. Watch the replay as he goes, contact in front. The 77 lands his lap. Zach White had tried to run side by side and got clipped by Christian Barnes on a massive squeeze. See, down there, right there, Barnes is there. White still comes down, and White comes up the track. Actually hits the 87 for good measure in Bradley. Sends 20 into damage control. Bradley Knopfsnyder, though, broke a chassis from that hit. One of the toe links smashed away. This was 27. He was already there. Car's there, goes on the apron. You can do that. Car's there, and still not there. There was some error between the two, but he was not giving room whatsoever to the 27. So here in the 91 will be your free pass car. Several drivers did come down to pit road as expected for some of the damage repair situation. Took off the free pass. The 87 has missed a bunch of stalls. That's Knopfsnyder trying to get in. Bradley able to get in. He's got toe link damage. That's going to see the fast repair come out. Richie Kine did not take the fast repairs, parked it. We also have had a technical error for Alex Pollock, it appears. The 92 is now no longer on the track. He had been running in 7th and now has left the facility. So coming up to 5 laps to go in stage number 1. Worked well the last time for Allen. Looks like he'll do the top again. Luman, though, choosing the bottom. Wilson choosing the top for a second consecutive restart from 3rd. Remember, in this series, the top 5 are the ones who score stage points. That track temperature, for those curious, is staying at about 84, 86 degrees. Now it's at still clear skies. Expecting to stay clear throughout the rest of this one. Talked about keeping an eye on Holston. He's now in that biggest mover conversation with Hatawa. Holston is in 8th. Hatawa is in 6th position. The 09 going to be fighting hard to try and pick up stage points on this restart. Four-lap shootout deciding things now in this stage. Field in the hands of the 96. Allen, the highest running out of those, not yet locked in with victories for the playoffs. Outside line, absolutely hooked up the top three, synced it perfect. Towel all over the back bumper of Wilson, timed it up just right. And Ullman and company were left in the dust. Janik also getting a great run to move up to fourth. Run's not done. Janik slide job for second. Contact to the wall for King. As the field tries to stabilize. Hatawa's in the wall. He's able to keep it from chassis damage though. A lot of squabbling. King getting squeezed 3 wide. Caution. That may end the stage here. It's at the back of the field from 12th spot, in fact. And for a second consecutive caution and a third time tonight, 77 is involved in an incident. Zach White definitely not wanting to give up here. It's his prerogative not to come down. Moyer came down into him, but he did not give any leeway. Kept going and going, saying, "Get off me," as he adds damage to the race car, and Moyer slams the wall. See right there, likes to keep himself up. Jewett was underneath. Moyer wanted to come down like normal. Moyer slams the chassis and breaks till like just about. Stephen Gale picked up black flag and sim at the time of the caution. So, 2 laps away from credit hearing. Pit road will not be opened as we are going to end the stage. This is the stage coming up here. So long as no one has an emergency stop here, your top 5 all have not pit yet. Allen, Wilson, Janik, Ullman, and King are all in the top 5. All of them able to save a tire set compared to Holston Co. Holston, the highest running of those who took a set. We're under caution. We'll look at how things shake up in a moment. We'll be back after this for more MRL.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need: Makoni.
With the launch of Makoni Entertainment and Makoni Competizone alongside Makoni Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MakoniSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Makoni Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Chicagoland as we get set for pit road opening back up. Bowling TV's coverage continues here as much of the field coming down for service. For some, it's their first pit stops here in this one. So we'll see how they handle the service here. After things got stalled through, no surprises. It stayed the same for that entry. Pit lane. Janik over at his pit stall, though. Might see some changes here as a couple drivers just about run each other over. At the end of the pit road. Race off the lane as we have some strategy. It looks like with the people taking tires, the previous caution, drivers like Barnes and Holston, along with Jeffrey Fisher, elected to just splash and dash and get back equal on sets. 4 tires were taken by Allen, Wilson, Janik, Hatawa, Raleigh Knopsnotter had a quick service of 5.8 seconds. He also topped off for members involved in one of the cautions. Do have a couple wave around drivers in this situation. Derek Jewett, Reggie Kime, Alex Pollock, all just got word they can take the wave now with the 1-inch shoes coming up. Pollock just gave a confirmation on his situation. He had a power flicker, apparently for the first time ever. He is the luckiest person in the United States, you can say. Power flickers can happen to anyone, and apparently it was enough to flicker the breaker for the office. At least in his case, the lucky thing, he is back on the lead lap. He lost only 1 lap. So, we get reset up here for the restart. I think technically he ran in the middle of the shoes. I don't think it matters though, he was a wave. But we have some strategy. The bottom chosen by both Holston and by Barnes. The top chosen by Fisher. And we have a crash. Under caution, Zach White is the wrong way around. Delay yellow. Race control had been giving some commands for stage 2, and it comes to a pause with this. Yeah, watch this. He's catching up to the field here. And the field can come up to you quick sometimes. 45 checks up to get a slow roll. He does not get the slow roll. He rolls into the wall. Zach White is not having a good night. That, if you include the other ones, would be 4 incidents on the incident counter for the 77. There is no incident limit in this series, but if there was, he'd be the closest to it. So once again, to reset, it's Barnes and Fisher on the front row. First time seeing Jeffrey Fisher, really, in this series. Seen too much of him, and now he's on the outside front row. Big test here for Fisher. I'll have to keep an eye on what he does on this restart. People are going to keep an eye to see what he does now that he's in prime track position. '22 is going to have to catch up a little bit. He is way far back from the restart zone, and that catches him off guard. Green flag goes out, and the inside line gets the better start. We're underway for stage 2. Allen just about running over Fisher all through the corner. Fisher already to the end of the top 5 with a poor start. Allen, who picked up the stage win, now is stranded behind him as Fisher starts to find his legs a little bit. Allen had the lift to avoid the wall. Well, remember, those tires still have a few laps of greenness on them for those who stayed out here, or rather took the fuel top off and kept the boots on. Those Goodyear Eagles may slip back as the stage progresses. Wilson the first on the new tires to get on through. Wilson feeds himself some dirty air. Clean air taken by Janik on the inside of the shorter distance around as Allen cuts to the dog leg. How long does the 93 play with the food, so to speak? How about playing for the race league right now? Inside, to the point. Just trying to get the run built up on Barnes. Those tires fade back a little bit here. Still side by side for the race lead, no issue on the boost. Barnes getting the edge of the stripe by 17 1/1000th of a second that time by. If they've spent too much time here, Janik might come into the conversation. There's Wilson, clear, race leader. Lap 80 is the marker to keep an eye on. Lap 80. It's going to be a run to the finish where we will likely see a one stop, if not near two stop, with the rest of the way. Wilson still has Barnes getting some decent momentum in that 27. A lot of people avoiding running the full bottom line because of all the bumps. There's one particular bump around that white line in turn 3, where if you clip it, it can push up that front valence and send you shoving up the track tight. Such a nuanced part of the track as Barnes hits the apron this time, costs himself some time. Allen taking advantage to move to second. Barnes this time clipped the bump, cost him the time. There go the tires starting to fade away. Allen wants his lead back and he wants it quick. Allen gets the run built up. Where does he take it? He takes it to the bumper, now goes to the bottom. Wilson elects to run the middle. Allen slithers his way up to the race lead. A change up front. The 96 is back. Crossover back by Wilson. It's great racing here this early portion of stage 2. Only about 7 laps through the stage so far on the tires. Top 2, even with the battle in, are starting to build a cushion. Allen trying to solidify that race lead swap. Looks like he'll get the lead lap this time around. He's got the edge. Janik trying to follow the tire tracks of the 96 down the straightaways at least. Barnes continuing the good fight meanwhile. Holston's already dropped to 8th. Barnes is maintaining up front, showing an improvement that we needed to see in 27. Wanted a shot to contend for a postseason bid and be good by the time you get to the championship. Run like this later in the season in particular, you're in a good conversation for this series. Up to 3rd he goes again. Another run. Hatawa is really good once the tires have about 10 laps on them. Janik has struggled past the 10 lap mark here tonight though. Once again, John Ullman ready to try and regain the top 5 as the 71 starts to fade back on the bottom. Clean air starting to come into play a little bit now for Allen as he tries to check out. Holston's maintained 7th or 8th spot now for much of this run. Caleb Hunt's gotten up there. Jeffrey Fisher, who we've seen start at the front, all the way back in ninth. Your fastest lap so far, turned by the 87, in the 11th position. Good run for the 09 Hatawa. Oh, he hit the wall. Ullman hits him. Hatawa push up the track, clips the fence, and that sees him drop back a little bit as a result of the contact. Barnes, meanwhile, is retaking second. Not bad at all, despite being on older tires here. Really good burst of pace here. Be able to keep up. If you get to caution to equalize things, it could get very interesting. At a point where people might use the tire sets if we're to get a caution after this mark, just to make sure they are good to go in the stage and good for a restart. Running 31 flats right now. Qualifying speeds were in the 30.9s, remember, earlier on tonight. These drivers at the start of the run, well, we're running at the 30.9s. Not too much fall off if you look at the stopwatch yet. Now the fall off comes into play. They fall back to the 31.2s. But on average, 3/4 of a second fall off so far. Ullman, maintaining on the top, now goes to the bottom. Where it becomes a choo-choo train. At this point of the run, it gets extremely hard to pass around Chicagoland. Most people like to run the top and then the top. 1 and 2 and then 3 and 4 the same way. Ullman hits the wall. That sees him pop out. Did he damage the tire? That's going to be a huge thing. Looks to be physically okay. He is slower than the 71 right now, who takes his preferred top line. Plenty of action to go here in stage 2 for those tuning in. So far, zipping away quickly towards the halfway point overall in the race as things stand. Looking to the back of the field, let's check in with one of the drivers we haven't really seen since Daytona. Hit Motorsports machine Harold Tucker III making a start tonight. Right now holding on to where he started the race, 15th spot. He's also battling with those who have had a lot of trouble. That includes Peterson, that includes Zukov, that are in that pack at the moment. All near contact with David Wallace. Right now, Tucker III trying to do some stuff as the battle continues now up front. Wilson playing with the gears. Janik driving on by on the outside, takes advantage of Wilson. Now, looks like the battle is on for the race lead yet again. Allen had started to pull away a little bit. Now Barnes has reeled him on in a little bit with the entry. Janik has found something now that he's been able to get some laps put together here. Side by side for the race lead, make it 2x2 for the top 4. Slotting up this time for the pass attempt. Allen has the better boost though, Chevy guy. Barnes trying to move up. Couldn't get clear. Allen maintains. Wilson zips by 2 for the race lead. Now he goes on to the bottom to try and take that point away fully. Still continuing on, no caution. We just had issues with the 45. Derek Jewett was off track and nearly was in the infield grass trying to pit on his own. We stayed green as the field continues to scrap up front. Offset 3 wide for the race lead. Door slam by the 96. Owen Janik trying to go outside, drives up into the wall. Allen was already moving up. Janik trying to keep it side by side. Instead, claps the wall. Now, as that all happened, Wilson able to slip his way up to the point for now. But for how long? Allen yet again to the inside. Janik crosses them both up. Lap traffic exits pit road as Janik tries to take away the middle line from Wilson. Throw Barnes back in the mix. 4 wide for a split moment. No one electing to take that apron now with that banking difference. A lot of chance the car bottoming out like you see at Phoenix with the fixed set. But it's Janik, the points leader, who slips in front. But how long is the question? Not long at all. Up front, Wilson again. Janik able to keep alongside for 3 and 4 at least though. 96 getting the edge of the stripe for now. Back and forth, they continue to rumble. Jewett is the lap traffic. He is point away. Pit stops are coming up over the radio. Couple drivers, Fisher, Tucker, and now hearing the leaders are coming in. Make it a couple stopper for stage 3 confirmed. Wilson is coming down this time by. They only made it about 30 laps on the fuel mark, less than 30, in fact, on green flag laps, 25-ish. 34 calling this time by. Expect another huge wave this time around. They all trying to hit their marks here for their service to make it to the end of stage 2. Wilson made the mistake on pit road. He still wasn't in the box, now he is. That's going to really cost Wilson on time as the other end of the pit road sees 34 in. Cal Punt also in. Your contact on pit road as Peterson missed pit road. Much the field drives on by. More drivers expecting to take service coming up here. Janik and Barnes yet to take their stops. Ullman taking a fair bit of time in his box here off and away. Not sure if he took tires there based on the angle. Yeah, 8.3 seconds in the box. He and Cale Punt may have just splashed and dashed it. Gets interesting now on their record. Here's continuing. 9, Richie Kime indicated pit road coming up this time. Pollock, Kane, Peterson, and Moyer all were in the lane the previous time by. Allen went with a full service, by the way, and cycled a fair bit back behind the 34 and the 78. Here in the 01 of Gill, who's currently running 9th, expects to come in this time by. Will there be a stop from the 71 with the low line? No. Barnes really let the car coast. Coming to the corner, struggled tight that time by. tell Barnes is struggling tight. He prefers the top, which can eat up the right front a fair bit here. Much better that time on the throttle. Adam Holston just indicated he's coming in. Christian Barnes just indicated pit stops. These are some of the drivers on fresher tires trying to get around. Oh, that's a squeeze. Hatawa nearly squished into the wall as Wilson drives on by on the bottom. Allen has passed by Ullman, by the way, on track. Service complete. Now for a couple more, Allen. Now the net advantage over the 34. Will there be a tire change? Looks like no. Barnes took fuel only. A quick splash in dash 2. Only enough fuel for the end of the stage maybe. Janik is in this time with Holston. Ottawa just now enter pit row with Jared Knopfsnyder. That means your leader is Alan Zukov. Coming up to 12 laps to go on the stage. Mistake for the 09 on one end, no issues, and tires coming up for the 71. Quick stop there for the 71. Janik took 2. Right side tires, that time by Hatawa, took 4. As the last of those on the cycle with their service gets interesting. Keep an eye on those intervals now. Barnes and Allen are only separated by a couple kart lengths. Couple kart lengths make the difference. Now for Allen, new boots, new tires. No issues for his Eagles to take away what's going to now be the race lead. Less than 10 laps to go in the stage. Remember, we're up to lap 80, coming up to halfway in the race itself here. Next driver up to take away a spot is Wilson. Mind you, not too many people took 4 tires. Allen and Wilson are the first who took new tires on the racetrack. Then you have to go 8 seconds back to Harold Tucker III. There's a change for second, no issue. But there is a chance that if the 79 can put down lap after lap, he may take some stage points here. The thing is, he's going to need to get 3 seconds up the track, up to where John Ullman is on pace. They're running 32-second lap times on the older tires right now. That's not including the factor of those who took 2 tires, like Janik, who at the very least is up a spot also. Last time by, Tucker ran a 1:31.2. Oh, he's trying to rim ride up the cushion. Able to take away the spot for the 78 now. 2 spots away from stage points. He might run out of time though. Only 4 laps to go. Janik trying to put a fight on meanwhile on the 2 tires. Last time by was actually quicker than Wilson. Might have the balance just right. The left sides have been talked about still to where they barely can wear sometimes. That might be the case right now on those new right sides. New fastest lap, Evan Janik. He's found something. He tries to knock him down. Tucker, meanwhile, has knocked his way into 6th spot. as Holston knocked down the wall on the other side of the track. Pit road is closed. Pit road is closed. 2 to go in this stage. Battles on for second and for fifth. On the outside, the 79 makes the move. Tucker making his way to the top 5. He now falls in the race control spot. Now it's side by side coming up to the last lap of the stage. Barnes has had a technical issue and is falling down the board. Move made by Janik on 2 tires. Now it's Allen who just needs to get a clean run to close up this stage. Can confirm technical issue. Christian Barnes out of the race. That is unfortunate for the 27 as Allen takes stages 1 and 2. Janik, Wilson, Tucker the third, Ullman looks like will be your top 5 as the caution is out. Stage 2 complete. Allen, Janik, Wilson, Tucker, third, Ullman all get stage points. For this one, take a step aside. Field bundles back up for the restart soon. Watching Boeing TV for more coverage of the Mystic Racing League and its Cup Series.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Makoni.
With the launch of Makoni Entertainment and Makoni Competizone alongside Makoni Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MakoniSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Makoni Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Welcome back, everyone, to tonight's coverage of the Mystic Racing League. More coverage of the WGTV, West Georgia TV 225. As we continue on with the action from Chicagoland, it's time for the very lengthy Stage 3. So far, the stage is about 35 laps apiece. Now, the true test is on for all these competitors. They're going to have to work once we get going at about, give or take, 65-ish laps. It still requires pit stop or 2 with the race distance these drivers ran in stage number 2, where they ran green. Andrew Allen, Evan Janik, Isaac Wilson, Harold Tucker III, and John Ullman are still your top 5. Everyone did take 4 tires that came in for scheduled service. Christian Barnes did return to the race, but he already has lost a lap from this one. In fact, he's lost 3. So he will need a miracle. You're in the 9 and the 27. Get some rounds here. 9:47, should say. Just got the clearance to go. Jackson Ottawa of note had a great restart. Starts in 6th. Gelb Hunt. Brownie Knobsdotter having a solid 9 is in 8th. Holston dropped back in the field late. Pollock from his tech issue with the power flicker is all the way in 10th position. So we will try and see what happens here. Restart coming up. Allen on top. Wilson with a rear bottom start. He's chosen the top much of the time. Keeping it slow on the pace. Green flag is out. Good restart for the outside as Janik times it up in the FSR car. And up to P2 goes Janik. Once you get a good command and a good roll from the line of the control car, you're golden, it seems. Janik trying to take advantage of the golden run is going for the lead. Inside, it's Janik. Outside, it's Allen. Janik trying to arc him up. Your contact. Janik trying to flare him up the track, force him off his pattern. Now he leans into him with contact. Allen had the lift out of the gas, and Wilson passes them both. Wilson straight up the gut. Goes to the middle, 3 wide. A squeeze up the track by Janik. Allen gets the best of all the runs. Just about clears them both. Still to the middle, Wilson. Offset 3 wide as Janik has to lift this time. Got too tight as Wilson in his 4 to 2nd. John Ullman having a great restart too. He's trying to take advantage. Haven't seen him in the conversation as much as he'd probably like for the race lead so far tonight. Back to 4th, goes to 34 with the run built up by the 71. As Allen looks to breathe a little bit up front. Rest of the field, we'll take a look at the middle of the pack. Clues drivers like King. Pollock is trying to move up their high side, for example. How about Knopfstein or Jarrett, in fact, all the way around the bottom, trying to make some passes. New fastest lap going to Wilson up front. While some of the others mid-pack get squirrely. Kane is all over the circuit. Kane up the track. Into the wall goes White. Wallace zips by with Gillen. Jewett also drives on by with the near call. About 61 laps to go. Make it 60. Laps tick down here in this one. Looking up front. Wilson trying to play the line game. Allen trying to play up top. Go side by side up for the race lead as near contact. Wilson tries to let it roll. Oh, he nearly turns him. Wilson shoved up and nearly turned the 96 on the fender. Good save in that sequence. As now they continue to battle on out. The gap between first and fourth up to more than a second. Janik still is in the conversation if they continue to tango. Hornets Nest, 77 to the wall. White continues to struggle. The Loyalty Racing Network machine bounces off the wall again. Christian Barnes back there trying to move on by his lap traffic. White continues to peel all the wrap off the side of his car, all while Orso in the middle of that group. Gillen trying to battle with Knopfsnyder. Bradley Knopfsnyder on the inside. This is for around the 10th position. 12th spot, in fact. Yeah, they continue to battle it out. Oh, contact! Up the track goes the 87. He scrapes the wall. Rest of the field scatters as they get by, no problem. Scary call there. Following Bradley Knopfsnyder getting moved up and around the track. Here's the THG Designs machine. One of the sponsors of this series, by the way. Glad to have their support here for the Mystic Racing League throughout this campaign. Once again, THG Designs. Support them. We're on board with them. Let's take a listen for a moment. THG Designs on board there. Oh wow, they ride and get comfortable. Top two have now pulled away. Rest of the field along with Janik to make the top three, should say, by about a second. So the field is starting to spread its legs here. This run, David Wallace having some issues. Jewett nearly pushed up into him as the 10 just tries to see what they can do short distance around to get alongside the 82. Give a shout out to these two. The 92 of Pollock having a decent run. He was running top 10 before the tech issue. Runs top 10 now. But Peterson, who was involved in 3 first stage caution situations, is up to 9th. And maintaining a battle at least, not getting stuck in the Hornet's Nest. The 20 seems to be learning as this race goes on what they've been able to do. Continuing to look across the field. Ullman holds on to the 4th position for now. Caleb Hunt is in that conversation. This is the main gaggle of cars that are running about a 10th or 2 a lap off the pace of the race leaders. Speaking of which, let's go side by side again, why don't we? Allen all over the outside wall. Wilson takes the race lead away with a mistake for the 96. Will try to go hard inside, though, to keep it up. Doesn't want to give it up easily. This has allowed Janik to close right back up to this. But Wilson, much better high side. The inside is starting to die off as the 93 nearly hits the wall, and Janik is let on go. back to that gaggle of cars. They didn't really gain much at all from that squabble. Ottawa has been as high as the top 5 tonight. This run, just maintaining pace and rhythm. It's all you can really do at this point of the run. How things are shaking up. Been a decent race for him. It's been about just making sure there's no issues. Harold Tucker III has done a major job maintaining track position as well in all this. Let's take a listen on board for a moment with the 79. Hearing over the radio that pit stops may be imminent. In fact, David Moyer, along with Reggie Kine, both are in. So, remember, these drivers made it about 25, 30 laps at most on the run previous for the lead. Janik inside, going for it yet again. Trying that inside that's been also difficult to run this evening. Yet again, though, it's Wilson getting the run, and Janik just says, I'm going to reset. They've now pulled away by about a second from a struggling Allen as the 96's tires have faded away and John Ullman's tires come back to life. Speaking of John Ullman, you see him in the background having a push-up. Nearly made contact with the 96, trying to clear himself. Allen, very tight, lets him pass. No issue. That gap down to 1.2 seconds. Last time by, it was 31.5 up front. But it's now almost time to keep an eye on those pit stops. 44 laps to work with here in this one. Top 2 now playing the line game. Both of them running the high side. And Janik tries the slider. Jams into the gas pedal. Tries to clear himself. Into the wall goes the 93. Wilson still uses the wall to take away the race lead again. That bounce off the wall, no problem, at least for now. See if it impacts the speed in the long run now. Janik side drives back. Now tries to push him back up the track on the arc. Back up front to the 71 spot he goes. 2 cars up front maintain their squabble despite John Ullman's ever-closing presence through 3 and 4. Ullman has now pulled away from Allen by 6-7 tenths of a second and is good on apex speed, but not closing fully on the margins yet. Wilson's got something wrong with his car. He's hitting the wall again. Remember Moyer already coming down pit road. Moyer, in his case, lost a couple of laps. During the pit cycle, back to Allen we go. Caleb Hunt has driven his way up into this conversation. One of Hunt's best races all season after being basically a bad luck charm at 78 wherever he's been. Tonight, though, he's avoided the bad luck. He's avoided the trouble, and it's helped him, obviously, to where he's at now. The way things are looking, it might be down to the one stop indeed with what they're doing, stretching it, compared to the last stage where a lot of the drivers just said, I'm going to come down now and make sure to split the stage. Give myself enough lead up and run away on the lap count. Still on board with the top 5. Hunt with the boost on the inside. Once again, Allen on the outside. Looking to get the run. But it's a squeeze from Allen yet again to force a lift off the tank and off the gas. Great battling in parts of this race tonight. Others, it's gotten nice and calm. This is why people like this track and provide some good racing once you give it a chance to breathe sometimes. Owen Allen's in the wall yet again on the push. Tala squeaks on by. Hunt squeezed his way away from the trouble. Still with them solidifying themselves up front. Harold Tucker III still holds on to the top 10 also. See him in the conversation now for this fight. Allen probably hoping and screaming for tires soon as we are just about, it looks like, at the green light on the fuel run. 33 laps completing the stint this time. Up a spot goes the 79 on the swabble. And the pit calls are coming over the radio. It's this time by 34, coming to 35 laps for much of this field. The leader staying out for now. But pit calls for drivers including Allen, for Ullman, for Isaac Wilson, for Hunt. All of them come down as things starting to bubble over. The 79 of Harold Tucker III is coming in this time also. As expected, tires going up on the 34. We've seen how big the fall was after a certain point on those who stayed on the tires. Didn't last long, their gaps. Might have a speeding penalty possibly. Yes, we do. 79 speeding. Harold Tucker III was well over the speed limit at the commitment cone. And now Janik coming in with him. So the run for the 79 goes into the dustbin. The rest of the field takes their service. Gill in and out. Down on the other side of pit road coming in. Adam Holston also ducking in for their scheduled service. That leaves Browning Upsnot are also coming on down this time by. Contact on pit road as they cycle into the lane. Evan Janik did cycle ahead of Isaac Wilson by 0.3 of a second in their pit cycle. The rest of the drivers now continue their service. Way far behind is going to be Hatawa on the undercut call from the front two. Hatawa going to be 5 seconds back of this run. These two are in command. They gain 3 seconds on the stint compared to what Ullman and company did. Here we go for the race lead. Wilson sends it, takes it. "30 laps to go, about 15 minutes of racing if you add up all the seconds." It's been green racing since a caution-filled stage 1. What a night it's been so far here tonight. Some of the battling, but yet again, some of your favorites trying to solidify their racing seasons. Here's a look at the temperature reads. Right now it is 80 degrees Fahrenheit. This is the coolest the track has been on average all night. Fastest laps, as to be expected, should be coming around this point. Right now, Wilson really stretching things out 1 lap further on the stint so far, as Allen, at the very least, tries to regain some positions he's lost. This is for third. 96 slips past the 34. Allen retakes a podium spot. 27 now-ish to go. See how big that deficit is for the 96 compared to the front two. It's going to require him to really push this car, and that's a major risk with these tires. You need track position, long run, if you want a chance at contending in this style of racing. Right now, 15 cars maintain lead lap positions. Continue to tick away as we continue on with some of the battling on. Allen trying things. Hunt trying to keep up a top 5 run. Has to battle with Hatawa. Hunt on the undercut gains some time, but Hatawa has been really quick the past few laps. Last time by, he was in the same ballpark as Hunt by about a tenth. Trying to side draft, try and pull him back if he can, it looks like, in that 78. Just can't get the run he needs to get a run alongside the 09 that will carry him forward. Still plenty of laps to work with. It's going to become a matter of thinking the rest of the way. If you're in some of these battles, you see some back and forth on the pylon, by the way. That's because Allen and Ullman still have not backed down. Ullman nearly hit the side of the 96. Allen gets himself clear. Now, he looks to try and calm down this fight again. On board, this is Evan Janik. Looks like Janik is starting to get into a spot to close. And we've just heard a call to the hauler for the 27. Not sure of the reason there, as up front, it's Janik to the race lead. Janik able to get the pass. Can he get it done fully though? Here comes Wilson. Wilson back with the run. No side draft from Janik. Lets him have the run. Here comes the boost back to the inside. Now to the fender. Now to the door. To the numbers. Wilson keeps it pushed up. Janik tries to go on the shortcut. Less than 20 laps to go from Chicagoland. Run for the 93. And Janik resets. Evan Janik's done that a couple times. When they battle too long to make sure he doesn't cook the tires, he's reset things, cooled them back down, especially since lap traffic is ahead. David Moyer, David Wallace. Owen Moyer in the middle of the corner makes the choice to go high. Janik's trying to build it up. Now has the run side by side. Race lead. Janik slide job to the point. Wilson crossover. Tries to get the car to cut. Yet again crosses him up. Another crossover leaving him in stitches. Wilson trying to get the nose ahead. Near contact to the door. About 15 laps to go. Wilson this time slides up. Makes door-to-door contact with Janik. Janik now clear as Wilson lifts off the gas. Oh, and that was a close call. Reggie Kime called for pit road. Missed pit road as Janik nearly got into the back end of the 9. Top two are having some fun over the radio with some of the conversation right now. They put on some great battling here tonight. Janik looks to try and finish this one out by running off away. 13 laps to work with. No surprise seeing the 47 of the 9 coming in. Tonight's action brought to you in part by Sofa News, by the way. Thank them for their support of this series. Again, the official news service of the Mystic Racing League, Sofa News. still, Janik has to finish this job, right? Last time by, he was a couple hundreds quicker, a couple thousands in fact, quicker than the 93. Tough thing about the situation is going to be getting through the traffic cleanly, having no holdups, having no issues on the lane choice, and better yet, seeing if he can make sure there's no tire fall off. Janik's gotten better and better as this night's progressed after some of the struggles earlier. Janik this time now shifting. He's getting to that point of the race. Just tried shifting into fourth gear in the middle of 3 and 4. So we're now getting to the point of tightness where Janik is having to play with the gears. He's going to have to run, and it seems to be working. Last time by, 4/10 up on the 93. Less than 10 laps to go here at Chicagoland. Closing stages now at the WGTV West Georgia TV 225. Right now, Janik just minding his own business up front. Ullman has, by the way, and all of that, retaken third and pulled away by a second as Allen's tires yet again have fallen off by a good half a second to the leader. There's a look at Ullman in line for a podium. Great night for the 34 when you have all things considered. It's been top 5 pace all night. Showcases it with the finish here. Looking at some of the air battles on screen. The 19, Joshua King. Still trying to find a way to have a good finish to this one over Pollock. Pollock seems to be in the clear though for now. Decent speed tonight from that 19 in this one as he goes for the move. Just about clear is clear. Pollock though gets some sort of run to the fender. King able to slam the door in his face. They are already half a track back of your race leader. That's how big the pace difference is. 5 laps to go. Now taken by the leader as Janik takes it 3 wide past traffic. He's lapped his way past 12. Zukov in 13th. That's Bradley Knopfsnyder in 12th. Just needs to finish out cleanly for another 6 miles or so. 4 more circuits left for the 71 as he takes the shortcut. Some battling now. This is for 4th. Allen's really fallen off this run. Ottawa trying to take away the spot. Trying to pull him on back. There's the side draft attempt. 3 to go. A push up by the 09. Trying to force Allen off the gas. Allen not backing down on this fight. Wants to finish up inside the top 4 still. Swing around the bottom by Hatawa, trying to think clearly on that one. Nearly into the door. Forced to regroup. Is there going to be enough time to do anything with just 2 more circuits for them to go? Allen ping-pongs it off the wall. Here comes Caleb Hunt. Caleb Hunt trying to roll and slowly make his way through. Now to the back bumper again. A little bit of a wiggle. Allen in the wall. Hot tower all over him. Still trying to roll through with the white flag coming up. This time by. Final time around for Janik. Tense battling now for Hunt to try and take away the spot from Allen. Janik tries to finish up strong at one side of the track. Chaotic battling at the other as pushing up is Hunt. Into Allen. Here comes the run roll 9. All while coming to the final corner, it's Evan Janik who gets the win at Chicagoland. Janik takes the win over Wilson and Ullman, and now they continue to fight for 4th. Allen has the run. He'll edge past Hunt. Hunt takes the top 5 finish. Unofficially, the 71 gets the win by 3.2 seconds tonight. Clean and green racing and some respect shown from the 93 there. Celebration time for car 71. Evan Janik gets the win tonight in Chicagoland. We'll take a step aside. Post-race coverage coming up. You're watching Ballin TV from Chicagoland.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Makoni.
With the launch of Makoni Entertainment and Makoni Competizone alongside Makoni Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MakoniSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Makoni Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Welcome back to tonight's coverage of the Mystic Racing League and its Cup Series. Some saying it's the best race of the year so far for the MRL Green Flag Racing. for basically the final two stages here in the WGTV West Georgia TV 225. Let's take a look at your unofficial race results tonight. Evan Janik getting the win over Isaac Wilson. John Ullman rounding up the top three in the running order. Allen and Hunt in the top five. Atawa, Kane, Pollock, Holson, and then it was Gillen in the 10th position. After an eventful start to the race, 4 incidents tonight for the 77. Zach White in 11th, Riley Domsnyder in 12th, then it was Zukov and Tucker with Gillen 15th. Jared finished off at 16th. Joshua Peterson finished a lap down at 17th. He was as high as around the top 10. David Moyer in 18th. Jeffrey Fisher was outside front row on a restart. He fades all the way to 19th. David Walsh 20th. Barnes could not recover from his tech issue. He finished 21st. Derek Jewett in 22nd. Richie Kime in 23rd. Ward ran a lap and then parked it. Then DNS's for Show, for Barry, and for Thornton here from Joliet. Top three all standing on by. Let's take the opportunity to speak with them. Your race winner tonight, Evan Janik. Evan, you had to fight for that one tonight. How would you describe the feeling of this win, your 4th this season?
Yeah, it was cool to go 3 in a row, that's for sure. But it was just tire management. I knew the 93 and 96 were racing really hard, and they weren't going to save it all. So all I had to do was pretty much race the track. I didn't have to race anybody else. And once everybody else kind of fell off, I was able to just keep going.
Overall, with this being the 3rd of the row, what's this been like feeling in terms of how this momentum is really built up for you after showing good pace early, but now it's starting to really come together? What's that feeling like, seeing this momentum really build up?
Yeah, it just, as long as you have the speed, you'll eventually get there. I think I've been at least in the top 5 speed-wise every race this year that I've been a part of, and it's just, as long as you take care of yourself, usually you'll end up with a good result. So that's definitely been how it's been going so far.
How do you feel about Gateway next week?
Haven't raced there a lot. Going to be a lot of shifting involved. I think we're going to be shifting from 5th to 3rd, and then so at least 4 shifts a lap. So it's going to be tiresome. Probably just as tiring as Road America was, but I'm expecting a lot of caution, so I'm not expecting to work that hard.
Any shout-outs you could give here after this one tonight?
Thank you to 9222 Designs for making all their paints. Thank you to Super Oil Pros for their support, and thank you to 5 Star Racing. It's been a lot of fun racing with them this year.
Congratulations once again on the run tonight.
Thank you.
Evan Janik comes away with the win tonight. Isaac Wilson comes away second, having some conversations there, looks like, with John Ullman. Isaac, how would you describe this one tonight?
I wish I could say tires. No, I just got done racing here Wednesday in another league. Nighttime, so turn 4 is a little bit tighter tonight, so that's why I kept smacking the ball. Adjusted it throughout the race. It's just, Janik is so damn good at saving tires. I was hoping for a caution later on in the race. I know 2 tires would work here because I did that strategy Wednesday, so I was hoping for a caution. Maybe no one else would roll the dice and take 2, but we didn't get one, so it just literally stayed green minus the stage caution. But it was fun racing around Janik. I think me and Andrew had some good battles. I think 27 Barnes up there as well, so it was a fun race. I'll take a P2 with some stage points, but God, I wanted that win.
How difficult is it overall, though, to save tires? You mentioned some struggles with that. How difficult was it in terms of thinking, how do I save these tires without being too slow?
Yeah, I think I have yet to figure that out. I've been doing iRacing for, I don't know how many years, 4 years now, and tire savings is my kryptonite. I've gotten a little bit better at it. Lately, it's just here at Chicagoland, it's just so hard because you really got to charge the corner to 1, and then turn 3, if you overshoot that corner, you're just roasting that right front. So you gotta be really careful. When I saw the 96 running high, early in the race, I knew he was burning his stuff up, and every time I tried to go past him for a stage one, to get around stage one, a caution would fly, so I was getting a little frustrated with that. But it is what it is. We'll want some some playoff points, but hey, I'll take a P2 after missing last week.
How do you feel about Gateway next week?
I hate that track. I don't like it because it's a hybrid style track. I mean, you carry the speed like you do at a mile and a half, but you're on the brakes if you are at Richmond or Martinsville. So I don't know if it classifies as a short track. I think it's 1.25 mile long, but it drives like a short track. So I'm just hoping we don't have a ton of cautions, because if you can get green flag racing there, it's pretty fun.
Well, any shout outs you like to give here tonight?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out. I know he don't race anymore. Bobby making his paint scheme run each and every week. I'll be running a different one next week, so he'll be sponsoring that race. Keep an eye on that. Guys, thanks Ancient World Gaming for bringing me on. We do a lot of nerds racing together. Looking forward to the next one. Next Level Racing, Sword Dog, Glitch Energy, Boozy Racewear, and Tangle Paints. Shout out to those guys, and shout out to you guys putting on the show. I know it's not easy, especially when you get long green flag runs like this. Hopefully, me and Janet kept the race pretty interesting. We were around each other. And shout out to the league admin for putting this league on.
Congratulations on the run here tonight, Isaac.
Thank you, guys.
Isaac Wilson coming away second spot. John Ullman rounds out the top three. And John, your best run this season, it feels like, in that 34 machine. How are you feeling about the Slim Chickens car?
Surprisingly good. Practice, I just didn't have pace, and so little concern, but I had long run pace, it turned out, so we'll take a third place all day long.
Overall, though, how was it in terms of trying to battle with some of the cars? You had some great battling, for example, with Alan.
Yeah, I mean, everyone raced clean. I mean, we touched doors once in a while, but that happens. We got stock cars, and we're meant to use them, so I'm pleased with everyone that I raced around. And going from the end of stage one to the end, essentially caution-free, was amazing.
How do you feel about Gateway next week?
I've never been there, so we're going to spend some time practicing and hopefully can talk to you guys again 2 weeks in a row. Any
shout outs you'd like to give here tonight?
Yeah, definitely a shout out to you guys. Your production is absolutely fabulous and professional. Mystic Racing League for putting this on. And then I recently got picked up by Caleb Hunt Racing, so nice to see but 2 of us in the top 5 tonight.
Well, once again, congratulations on the run here tonight, John.
Thank you.
John Ullman rounding out the top 3. I'd like to take the time to thank the top 3 for speaking with us here in post-race coverage here on WGTV. As mentioned, next race starts off the month of May at Gateway. Race should be getting underway by approximately 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time. Be sure to tune in for that one for the MRL. By that note, it's just about time to say goodbye. For our producer tonight, DJ Line, for everyone in the Mystic Racing League, I'm Justin Prince saying so long. Enjoy the rest of your evening. You've been watching tonight's coverage of the WGTV West Georgia TV 225 from Chicagoland. We'll see you next time when we go racing from Gateway.